for being here. I'm going to try to find some things we can agree about, okay? So let me just start. I want to talk about sexual assault on college campuses. The Department of Justice and CDC has repeatedly documented that roughly 20 to 25% of women have been sexually assaulted, most commonly by men, and I think also men at maybe about a 16% rate or something smaller than that, but that women of college age are at the highest risk. So first of all, I want to ask you this. I'm assuming that you agree that Title IX schools are required to respond to acts of sexual violence that impact students' access to education. Would you agree with that?
I would, Congresswoman, but let me just say that I've said before, and I want to emphasize again, that one act of sexual violence is one too many, and one student that does not have due process is one too many.
Okay, well,
let
me just, if you could, just to reclaim my time, we have time, you could talk about the perpetrators and so forth. But do you agree that in practice many schools are failing to protect victims or hold perpetrators accountable?
What I know is I've heard from students and I've heard from institutional representatives that the framework that they've had to operate under has not worked for too many students, which is precisely why we are in the process of negotiated rulemaking.
Okay, well, let me just, I want to find some things we can agree on, and then we can disagree. I am assuming you would agree that people who are subjected to sexual assaults experience terror, helplessness, profound humiliation, and that sexual assaults are among the harmful, traumatic experiences. Can we at least agree on that point?
Certainly.
Okay, that's great. And I think we can all agree that the response of the survivors' community is very important for their recovery. We could agree with that. All right, that's good. Okay, see, I know we're on a good path here. And I think we would also agree that authority figures in schools are in a position of great social authority to help a recovery. All right, we're doing well. Now, so I want to assume for a moment that this is a classroom and that we are meeting on a regular basis. All right, just take a look around. You saw the people who are here. So let's assume, I'm not going to pick any person out, that one of the people in here, could be a man or a woman, has been sexually assaulted by another one that's in the room. This is a classroom. Would you agree that a victim of sexual assault should not be required to sit in a classroom with a perpetrator day after day? I think, can't we agree with that?
I would agree with that, but let me just say.
No, let's keep going.
I appreciate.
No, wait a minute.
And respect your desire to go down this path.
I'm reclaiming my time to ask the next question because we're doing well. I mean, come on, we're agreeing. All right. Now, here's my next question. If let's say, I'll say a woman or a man is sexually assaulted at a fraternity house, should that, by another classmate, should the victim be required to sit in the classroom with the perpetrator of the sexual assault?
Congresswoman, I appreciate and respect your desire to continue down this path of questioning, but you know that we are in the middle of the rulemaking on this issue.
Could you just answer my question?
It would be inappropriate for me to continue to comment and answer the questions in the way that you're posing.
But here's what I think. I think you agree with me that an assailant shouldn't be allowed to sit next to a victim. And so since I'm running out of time, I guess I have to get to my final question, which maybe we don't agree on. But you have proposed changes that if a student is sexually assaulted by a classmate an off-campus frat, the school is not going to be liable to investigate. And I don't really understand that. If the frat is on the campus or the frat is across the street, it seems to me that the potential harm to the victim is the same. And what that means is, for that victim, all that trauma, all that humiliation, is the likelihood that that victim may not go to class, may drop out of school, and it seems to me the university or the college will be subjecting themselves to a violation of Title IX. Think about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I yield back.
Congresswoman Bustos.